Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka GLauren33. I am back here with your SmackDown review and results for May 29th, 2020. Thanks for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. Hope you guys are having a great night. As always, man, we are live here on YouTube. But if you guys haven't been paying attention as of late, we are also on Spotify and Google Podcasts and a bunch of other podcasting networks. Yes, the Legit Shoot podcast is digital on all those other services. So if you guys want to listen to the Legit Shoot on another app or platform, you guys have the resources now to do so. So YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, everywhere else, you guys can find us on there. So hope everybody's doing all right. We are still on the road to Backlash, and tonight's SmackDown was very, very interesting. A lot happened. Basically, the focus was on the IC tournament and the situation with Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, AJ Styles, and Elias. All right, this is a major situation, and a lot comes to my mind when we think about this, so I'll give you guys my thoughts on that. We'll talk about Sasha Banks, the greatest female wrestler of all time. We'll also talk about Matt Riddle being demoted to SmackDown. Yes, he's been demoted from NXT now as he's moving up to the main roster, and I fear for Matt Riddle's career on the main roster. I don't know what's going to happen to the guy, and I'm worried, all right? And you guys should be worried as well. But we're going to talk about all that. Otis and Mandy had a little bit of a date tonight and a couple other things, but we'll be talking about all that and more on tonight's show. All right, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys are new, follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. The links for that are in the description down below. And we have a huge supporter of the podcast. I'll talk about that supporter a little bit later on, but let's get into it. All right, so the big thing, and a couple weeks ago, it was reported that WWE was planning a big storyline, like a big car accident storyline surrounding some big name WWE superstars that was gonna play out throughout most of the summer. And we heard that WWE was nixing this idea because they wanted the storyline to take place in front of a live audience. Well, it looks like that plan is back on board. WWE's decided to go forward with this storyline, and it was the storyline that we saw tonight with Jeff Hardy and the car accident. And before I get into anything, I want to say this. One of the things that really pissed me off about WWE is they can be so creative when they want. It's mind-blowing to me how creative WWE can be when they want to. And then 90% of the time, they're lazy and they just go through the motions. Things like what we saw tonight really helped the product. And you guys hear me complain, WWE's product has been so boring the last couple of years. But now they come up with something like this, and it's just like, why can't we get creative storytelling like this all the time? We get this all the time in Triple H's NXT. Why can't we get this on the main roster? We're lucky if we get creative storylines like this 4 or 5 times a year maximum on the main roster, and it really angers me. It truly does, But getting through with this whole Jeff Hardy storyline. So basically, the big thing is, if you guys remember, before they've been showing these Jeff Hardy video packages about his rise, his fall, and his revenge tour, his return to WWE, and with his feud with Sheamus, they've talked about how Jeff Hardy's had a past of drinking, alcohol, drug use, and how it's basically been his downfall throughout his entire life. It seems like WWE has finally turned this into a major storyline. They've done it with Samoa Joe, they've done it now with Sheamus, but they've never done it like this. So basically, to start off SmackDown tonight, they had Renee Young and a bunch of WWE officials. You saw Jason Jordan, who's now a WWE producer. You guys saw a lot of WWE staff. They were outside of the Performance Center, and basically, there was a huge car accident. And you could see there was a rental car, there were police officers, there was Elias, but we couldn't find the drivers of the rental car. We saw Braun Strowman, the Universal Champion. He had arrived to the arena. I don't think Strowman was even on the show outside of this. I know Strowman has a 2-on-1 handicap match with Miz and Morrison, but I don't have anything in my notes talking about Braun Strowman. All right, which doesn't really make sense since he is supposed to be your top champion, but you guys get the drill. But anyway, getting back to the important stuff. So basically, what happened is these police officers, they're trying to look for the driver of the rental car, and it's revealed that Elias was injured. Elias's car was hit, or Elias was hit, and he was being taken to the paramedics. He was knocked out unconscious, and he did a really good job acting like he was unconscious. But they found that the owner of the rental car was Jeff Hardy. So they're looking for Jeff Hardy. He's not in the rental car, but a little bit further down near there was a couple of trees. They found Jeff Hardy, and he looked like drunk, and he didn't know where he was. He was confused, all these other things. And then the officers are basically like, "Oh, Jeff, we're gonna have to take you downtown. You're gonna have to answer a bunch of questions." They said he smelled like beer and alcohol, and they said his car reeked of the same smell. And right away, I was able to put all the puzzles together, because Jeff was like, no, like I don't know what's going on, And then, as they're taking Jeff looks like Elias, like, Elias, man, no, this isn't right. This isn't what it looks like. All this, but all signs point to Jeff, causing the accident because of his, his documented history with drug and alcohol use and all this stuff. So, basically, I'm sitting there like, this is predictable, but I love it. I love it, because when do we ever get creative storytelling like this? And then Jeff Hardy is arrested. The WWE officials are trying to be like, no, don't take him, man. Let him get cleared by our medical staff and let us try to handle it. But the police are like, nah, this is official police investigation, all this other stuff. So basically what happens is Hardy's taken away, and then I'm loving this. It's chaotic, it's creative. It's like, whoa, because usually when SmackDown or Raw starts, what do we get? We get some stupid promo segment or backstage interview, something that just doesn't make the show feel important. This made the show feel important. They started off the show with this. Renee Young, her attitude, the way everybody performed in the segment, it was done really well. It made like, oh, this is a serious situation. And then I go on Twitter, and I see a bunch of WWE journalists. Everyone's like, oh, I don't like how they brought Jeff Hardy's drug abuse and all this and turned into a storyline. And I'm sitting there like, what the hell are you guys talking about right now? Like, seriously, what the hell are y'all saying? Because here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. Alright? Do you really think WWE would have went and made those Jeff Hardy, videos? Like the rise, the fall, all that. Do you really think they would have done a storyline with Sheamus? Do you really think they would have done this whole car crash angle tonight and made it about Jeff Hardy without getting Jeff Hardy's permission? No. Everything they've done was to build up Jeff Hardy and to plan this whole thing out. They would have never done this without Jeff Hardy's permission. Hardy clearly gave WWE permission to do this, or we would be having a completely different conversation right now. Alright? I think WWE did a really great job with the production of this, even though it's a little predictable, because clearly you can tell based on the way Jeff Hardy was acting, he had been set up. Clearly, and it made the most sense. When Sheamus beat Jeff Hardy, or I'm not, I got it wrong, when Jeff Hardy beat Sheamus to end SmackDown last week in the IC tournament, Sheamus was livid. livid. And Sheamus was saying all this stuff, and you could tell Sheamus was like, "You're gonna pay for this," you know. So basically, you could tell Sheamus set this up perfectly, so that he would cost Jeff Hardy the IC title tournament and also get him in trouble. All right, and clearly, you know, everything I'm saying was validated by the way SmackDown ended tonight. You know, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. But overall, with the opening segment, I think it was done perfectly. It was beautiful. I loved how WWE did this. It was creative, and it was something, you know, that I really appreciate WWE doing. I just wish they would do this more often with everybody else on the main roster. It just pisses me off how we don't get this happening with the rest of the main roster more often. But yeah. Anyway, you know, moving on. Well, basically, we come back from commercial, right? And basically, all of the male superstars are backstage. You have Jimmy Uso, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Drew Gulak. It was good to see Drew Gulak there. Remember, there was talks a couple weeks ago that he was released by WWE. This was because his contract expired. But clearly, he's re-signed with the company, and I really do hope that, you know, WWE plans to use him more going forward. All right, the guy's too good. But I'm really glad to see that Drew Gulak is still there. You had Baron Corbin, you had Sheamus, you had Ziggler, you had all these dudes. So basically, they had this really tall, bald dude who I don't know. Like, he was one of the WWE officials, something like that. And basically, he told everyone, oh, Hardy had been arrested, Elias had been taken to the hospital, but he had no life-threatening injuries. So the heels are all like, oh, there goes Jeff, you know, doing something stupid again. This is like his, 20th chance? You have the baby faces like Bryan and Gulak. They're like, oh, don't go saying stuff like that. All right, but you guys got to remember, Jeff and Elias were both supposed to face off tonight in the semifinals for the IC title tournament. And another thing I forgot to say, I do like how WWE did do this, because let's be serious, no one believed that Elias was going to beat Jeff Hardy. Nobody, right? And what planet was Elias going to be in the finals of the IC title tournament? You know, and Jeff Hardy, I felt like he was never supposed to be in this tournament. I feel like WWE's building him up for something way more. Potentially, you know, a potential Universal Championship down the line. You know, him maybe facing off against a Strowman or a Bray Wyatt or a Roman Reigns or a Styles somewhere down the line. So, definitely, you know, I think this was a smart move on WWE's part, because neither Hardy or Elias neither one really made any sense when it came to the IC title. But anyway, you know, Styles and Bryan are talking. The Styles is like, why are you complaining, Daniel? And I love this. This is really good heel character work by AJ. You know, it seems like AJ has more of a... it seems like he has a renewed energy. I read something, because AJ was on Corey Graves' podcast after the bell, and AJ said he was really down, you know, after seeing his boys, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, get released. And especially since he spent his entire time with them on Raw together the last year. So basically, him getting moved back to SmackDown, where he's had the most success in his career, man, it's like he has a new purpose, and he has found a bunch of new energy. I also read something that a bunch of other superstars want to be put on SmackDown just so they can work with Styles. You know, so definitely, man, you could definitely see AJ's really popular in the locker room. But anyway, so AJ's like, and this is good heel work, AJ's like, why are you complaining? You know, you basically get a bye into the finals against me. You know what I mean? And all the baby faces and everyone's like, oh, great team spirit, AJ. You're really a leader around here. And AJ's like, it's not my fault that, you know, Elias and Hardy can't compete, you know? But, hey, I'm not going to take this opportunity for granted. I'm taking my free ride to the finals of the IC tournament. You know, and Bryan, being the baby face, is like, oh, no, I don't want to win like that. I want to earn my win in the finals of the IC tournament. I'm telling you right now, 2019 Daniel Bryan would not said that. Heel Daniel Bryan would have not said this, but Bryan being the lovable babyface, he's like, no, I don't want to win like that. I want to earn my place in the finals. And then at the end of the segment, Styles was like, you really are stupid. I love it. Great heel work by Styles. And then Bryan's like, what? So basically, everyone's complaining. WWE actually made some sense of this. Some people on Twitter said it was stupid. Like, no, it made sense to me, and I didn't mind it because everyone was like, Corbin and Sheamus was like, hey, man, like, oh, if Bryan wants to earn his opportunity, I have no problem taking him out and taking his spot. But then Jimmy Uso and Dolph Ziggler are like, oh, but you two have already lost, right? You guys were already in the tournament to begin with, and you guys lost. And I knew where WWE was going with this, all right? I knew it. Basically, what WWE decided to do is all these superstars minus AJ and Bryan, they put them in a battle royal, and that would determine who would face Daniel Bryan in the semifinals in the main event of tonight's show, and that would determine who would face AJ Styles in the IC tournament finals for the Intercontinental Championship. So I knew it was kind of predictable the way they were going with this, but it was whatever, right? Even though I get it because Daniel Bryan's a babyface, but still, Styles was right. Bryan is a stupid idiot, But basically, we have a battle royal. You have Jimmy Uso, you have Ziggler, you have Sheamus, Corbin, and a couple other names. Chad Gable was in there, Nakamura, Cesaro, etc. Excuse me. So I'm not gonna really go over the battle royal. Just there was a point where Chad Gable eliminated Cesaro and Nakamura, and basically, I hate when WWE does this. They do this every single time there's a battle royal. After Gable eliminated both of them, Nakamura and Cesaro come back into the ring, and they eliminate Gable. So I hate it. Makes zero sense. How does it make any sense that two superstars that were already eliminated in a battle royal, two superstars that are no longer in the match, how does it make sense that they get to come back into the ring and eliminate a superstar that was in the battle royal at that point, and it's illegal, it's a valid elimination? I don't get that. Like, WWE does this all the time, man. Like, how does it make sense? So what's stopping, let's just say, since Nakamura and Cesaro eliminated Gable, even after they were eliminated, what's stopping Nakamura and Cesaro from eliminating Sheamus, Corbin, Jimmy Uso, everybody else that's in that battle royal? What's stopping them from doing that? If they do that, do they win the match even though they were not in the match to begin with, or they were already eliminated from the match? That's something that's never made sense in my eyes when it comes to WWE, and it's retarded logic. So if I get eliminated from the battle royal and I come back and I eliminate everybody, do I get the win, or does the battle royal become invalid? Like, it's logical booking. I hate it. But anyway, this would lead to Chad Gable confronting Nakamura and Cesaro later on in the show, and they had a match a little bit later, which I'll talk about in a couple moments, just to get out of the way, since it's really not too important. But basically, back in the battle royal itself, Sheamus eliminated Jimmy Uso with a massive bro kick to win. And you guys can remember, we still had the NXT talent there as fans. I'm getting used to them a little bit more. I think it's just gonna take a couple shows, just for us to really get used to, not having fans or not having an audience in the Performance Center these last couple months has been weird, but we've gotten used to it. So now getting used to this NXT crowd or NXT talent audience, it takes a little bit of use, since it's not the most organic type of crowd to have, but it's better than having no fans at all. So, and I gotta say one other thing. I do like the plexiglass around the thing. It looks kind of like a cool little tunnel or mirror simulation, when the superstars are making their entrances. It's pretty cool. But Sheamus won the match. The NXT crowd boo, and this would be Sheamus would face Daniel Bryan in the main event of the show to determine who would face AJ Styles in the IC tournament finals. I think that match is taking place next week. I don't know why it's not taking place at Backlash, but hey, what do I know? All right. But like I said earlier about Chad Gable. Chad Gable, after the match, he confronted Cesaro and Nakamura for eliminating him even after he had won. Basically, Cesaro was like, we can do what you want. Somebody like you doesn't deserve to win. And basically, Cesaro recommended that Gable leave before he gets another beatdown. Gable decided to stand his ground, and this would lead to a match between Gable and Cesaro later on in the night. Let's just talk about it now, since, why not? Get it out of the way. So it wasn't anything special, but Gable was able to get the 1-2-3 surprise victory on Cesaro. I'm not really surprised here. I just got to say, where is Mustafa Ali? Am I the only one that's going to ask that question? Where is Mustafa Ali? It's about to be June. I don't think the guy's wrestled on WWE TV since maybe January. It's basically been half a year since the guy last performed. Is he still alive? I don't know. I have, my suspicions that Ali and Gable are working together as the hackers of SmackDown. But hey, we don't know that if that's fact or fiction. But, it was good to see Gable back, but I really want Mustafa Ali back. I miss that guy. He was actually one of my favorites on SmackDown. I would love to see him back. But I just had to add that question real quick, Well, Chad Gable gets the win here, so we'll see if they're going to build this into a mini feud between Gable. I could definitely see Gable going up against maybe Nakamura next week, Maybe Sami Zayn, because there are rumors that Sami Zayn could be coming back to work soon, but we'll have to wait and see. Moving on, we had Sonya Deville. She was interviewed backstage, or she had a backstage promo, and basically she was going on how she's gonna take out all the blondes on SmackDown. It looks like Sonya Deville's finally getting pushed as a single star. I've been saying this for a couple years now. I really like Sonya Deville. When she was in Fire and Desire with Mandy Rose, I said this multiple times. Sonya and Mandy are super talented, especially Sonya. She has skills similar to a Ronda Rousey or a Shayna Baszler. She comes from that MMA background. Use her. Like Becky, I said this last week. Becky Lynch said on a podcast like last year, I think it was The Bump. When The Bump was first getting started on YouTube, that WWE show. Becky said if there was one woman that she could see as the next breakout star of the women division, it would be Sonya Deville. And I completely agree. I'm glad that Sonya's finally getting some kind of singles push. I don't see Sonya getting a title match anytime soon, especially because she's a heel. Right now, the title's being held by Bayley. And if we get Sasha versus Bayley like we believe we're going to get, later this summer, hopefully at SummerSlam, it's going to be a while till Sonya could get a title match. Because Sonya versus Bayley, heel versus heel, let's be honest, we don't want to see that. But if Sasha is turning babyface like we expect her to do, I would love to see a program between Sasha Banks and Sonya Deville. I think Sonya has enough energy and potential to, become a breakout star. And Sasha, she's the best female wrestler in the world, so definitely I think that would be a very good title match or a world or SmackDown Women's Championship feud, somewhere down the line, maybe towards the end of the year when Sasha becomes SmackDown Women's Champion eventually, But right now I would focus on Sonya developing in the ring. She's still a little bit sloppy here and there. And I definitely think she has the chance to be a breakout star if done correctly. She cut a backstage promo, basically how she's going after blondes and how she was going after Lacey Evans. And you guys know how much I hate Lacey Evans, but her match with Sonya was actually pretty decent for what it was. It was aggressive. The action was fast paced. The match ended in a double countout, which you don't see often in WWE. But after the match, Sonya told Lacey, who was sitting in the ring, Lacey wanted to continue their fight, restart the match, but Sonya was like, "Nah, I'll fight you some other time." So I don't know, because basically we saw Mandy and Otis at the pool today. It looks like they have no real desire to get their win back against Sonya and Dolph from last week. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that feud is officially dead, and or if that match, or if that story is over and Sonya's just ready to move on. I don't know here, but I don't mind it. And you guys know I don't like Lacey Evans, but this was decent. I have to be honest. When something is good or decent or positive, no matter if I don't like the superstar, I gotta tell you guys. So I don't care about Lacey Evans, but I think using her in this program to build up Sonya Deville would definitely be the best thing for both women going forward. No one wants to see Lacey in the title picture. Nobody wants to see that, right? I think we can all agree on that note. But using her to go up against Sonya and build Sonya up as a bigger star, I think that's the right move. We'll just have to see where this goes, but looks like we're going to get a little one-on-one rivalry between Sonya and Lacey going forward on SmackDown, which I have no problem with. No problem. Alrighty guys, so before we get into the next segment here on the SmackDown review, I just got a little bit of a clip for you guys from the #1 supporter of the Legit Shoot podcast. I'll be right back. What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you back here to the Legit Shoot podcast, and we have the best guest we could ever ask for. She is the legit boss, the blueprint, the standard, the greatest female wrestler of all time, the one, the only Mercedes Varnado, aka Sasha Banks, is here. Sasha, thank you so much for joining us. What's going on?
Hi George, how are you? I hope your day is going well. Thank you so much for the request and the questions.
No problem, Sasha, but before we let you go, I have 2 quick questions that I'm dying to ask. Alright, I gotta hear your answer to these. I'm gonna make it tough on you. Outside of Bayley, because I know she's your BFF and you've said so many times how she's the best match you've ever had. Outside of Bayley, what are your favorite matches that you've had so far in your WWE career? And question number 2, you have so many great ring gears. What is your favorite ring gear out of the 1,000,000 that you've had so far in your WWE career?
That is super hard. Bayley is my favorite
yeah, we
of
know.
all time. But my favorite matches besides with her definitely has to be my Hell in a Cell against Becky.
That was the best female.
That match was just insane and changed my
best
life
female
forever.
Wrestling match of the whole year.
I can't believe that match. I'm really proud of that match. Who else? Let me try to think of someone who's not Becky or Bayley. I've had some really good ones with Ruby. I love working with her. I like Ruby, Ember. I like that triple threat we did.
Wish we could see more of that.
What else can I remember? The one from Boston with Nia. That's one of my favorite matches.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind. I'm just thinking. Sorry.
You gave us a lot of answers.
That's a lot of answers. I gave you an answer. So, no, those are my answers. And my favorite ring gear ever.
I can't wait to hear this.
Probably Wonder Woman.
Royal Rumble.
Of course, my Eddie Guerrero one.
Yep. WrestleMania 32.
From recently, I really love the
the red and blue one, yes.
Clash of Champions.
Yep.
Gear that
love
I
that
have,
one.
The navy one and red and gold. So that's my favorite ones. Thank you so much for this question.
Thank you.
I'm so thankful you're a fan, George. So thank you so much for sending this to me. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you stay safe and well. And thank you so much for being a fan. Bye.
Huge shout out to Sasha Banks for joining us here on the Legit Shoot podcast, man. The #1 wrestling podcast on YouTube, because we tell it how it is like nobody else does. So make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are new, man. Peace. Yes, shout out to Mercedes Vernado, aka Sasha Banks, for being my inspiration for the Legit You podcast and being the best female wrestler in the world, which she showcased on SmackDown tonight once again, which we'll be talking about right now. So we had a moment of bliss with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Ugh, I hate this show, alright, but the special guests were the New Day, alright, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the New Day. And after the New Day come out, Big E gave Nikki Cross a coffee mug, while Nikki Cross gave Big E a bunch of Celtic Irish pancakes. Stupid, alright? Who cares about this? Anyway, this segment was pretty boring. Until Sasha Banks and Bayley came out, of course, but I don't understand really what the point of having the New Day on the show was. This was more about building up Sasha Banks and Bayley and the tension that's slowly, being formed between them instead of the New Day. The New Day were made as afterthoughts in this segment. The second Sasha Banks and Bayley came out, they were afterthoughts. They didn't do anything for the rest of the segment, Plus, they showed another Forgotten Sons video package tonight. So, I don't know what's the plan if we're going to be getting, New Day versus the Forgotten Sons probably after Backlash. Because it looks like right now, since most of the SmackDown titles were defended at Backlash, it seems like, not Backlash, Money in the Bank. Since most of the SmackDown titles were defended at Money in the Bank, it seems like Monday Night Raw is going to be carrying most of the pay-per-view matches for Backlash. So it looks like they're switching it around, which I don't really have a problem with, especially since we're in a pandemic. But Sasha Banks and Bayley come out, and woof, Bayley was wearing the chalk line jacket for Sasha and Bayley, the jacket which I actually have in my closet. I have like 3 Sasha Banks chalk line jackets. Anyway, besides the point, and Sasha was wearing the new Sasha Banks tracksuit, which is going to be released by Chalkline sometime this summer, which I may get my sister for her B-Day. So who knows? But Sasha and Bayley came out, and they were on like whoa, best tag team on SmackDown in the ring. What? It's definitely not Alexa Bliss or Nikki Cross. It's definitely not the New Day. Bayley asked Sasha, what's wrong with this picture? Do you see the best tag team in there? No, I don't. But Sasha, being the best female wrestler in the world and the boss, he comes in, and then people on social media were joking that she was stripping. But Sasha comes into the ring, she rips off her track jacket, and she throws it on Alexa Bliss. Now I do, she says. So basically saying that her and Bayley are the best tag team in the ring, which is actual facts because Sasha's the best female wrestler in the world. Alright, anyway, Sasha was looking on fire tonight. She was looking, every week, man, Sasha's outfits are just absolutely stunning. She's just, alright, $1 million. Whoever's making her outfits, I'm not just talking about her ring gear, her outfits, man, you deserves $1 million, man, for real. But she was wearing, this really cool camouflage top, and she also had a arm sleeve that was in honor of Hannah Kuma. Hopefully I didn't say her name wrong this time, but Hannah Kuma, you guys know who she is. She was the Japanese wrestling star who committed suicide because of cyberbullying. Alright, and on a quick side note, I did a video about the whole JD from NY206 situation and how he was getting a lot of criticism for his little Twitter feud with Alexa Bliss over a clip of, JD making some very inappropriate remarks about Bliss and her wrestling ability. If you guys haven't seen that video yet, it's doing really well on the channel, and it's really, really good and informative. So definitely after watching the SmackDown review, you guys should go check that out. It's live on the channel. Especially if you guys are listening on Spotify, man, go to Fitzmonk TV on YouTube and you will find it right there at the top of the page. But anyway, Sasha Banks and Bayley, they're sitting in the ring. Bayley's talking about how she defeated Charlotte all by herself last week and how impressive the victory it was. But then Alexa Bliss was like, whoa, New Day, you're champions. We're champions. Bayley, you're SmackDown Women's Champion. Hey, Sasha, where's your title? Please, don't get me started on Alexa Bliss and championships. Alexa should have never, ever defeated Sasha 8 days after SummerSlam 2017. Don't get me started on that garbage. But still, Sasha was not happy about it, but Bayley was like, okay, we see what you're trying to do. You're trying to do the same thing that Charlotte was trying to do, form a wedge between me and my best friend, but it's not going to happen, And basically, Sasha and Bayley started spitting facts. Sasha said that we were the ones that made those tag team titles relevant. We were the ones that put them on the map. And she was spitting all facts. Like I say, almost every podcast, the women's tag team championships have not been important since they took those titles off of Sasha Banks and Bayley at WrestleMania 35. Another loss, which should have never happened to Sasha Banks. I don't care what anybody says. The only reason why the Iconics won that match is because WWE wanted to do a shock title change at WrestleMania. But the Iconics did nothing. The second the Iconics won those titles became meaningless. Meaningless. I don't care what anybody says. Sasha Banks and Bayley should have held those women's tag team championships for most of the whole year of 2019. Period. End of story. But basically, Sasha was like, if we wanted to, we could have took those tag team titles from you at any time. Which is kind of true. And before we go any further, I don't know if I'm having memory issues, but someone in the comments section, someone tell me, wasn't I the guy? Me. I'm talking about me, alright? I'm going to be selfish here. I have been saying for months that WWE could easily use the Women's Tag Team Championships to build tension between Sasha Banks and Bayley. It's so simple, man. So simple. You have Sasha Banks and Bayley win the Women's Tag Team Championships. Alright, down the line, if you want to have Bliss and Cross or, another team win those titles back from Sasha Banks and Bayley, and then do it where it causes more tension between Sasha and Bayley as, their friendship slowly starts to dissolve. That's good storytelling. It would work perfectly. Plus, you can add on top of that, remember when Sasha first came back to WWE after her 4-month hiatus? Remember when she cut that promo on Raw talking about how she defended tag team titles that she never cared about? You can use that, further the storyline. There's so many ways, there's so many different directions they can go with this, But legit, I'm the guy here that's been saying for months, if WWE wants to, they could easily use the Women's Tag Team Championships as a way to build tension between Sasha Banks and Bayley. It's not like it's going to hurt the tag team titles. You've already damaged those Women's Tag Team Championships enough. Sasha and Bayley should have never lost those tag team titles at WrestleMania 35, and I don't give a damn what anybody says. It's pure facts. It's so easy, man. Like, tell me how I sit here on a podcast and know how to book WWE Smackdown better than the people writing the show who get paid for it. Like, what? Hire me, man. Anyway, basically, this leads to Bayley volunteering Sasha to go one-on-one with Alexa Bliss, and at first it looked like they were going to challenge them to a tag team match, but instead Bayley volunteered Sasha instead. And the thing that then, that really caused the tension is that Sasha was not in her ring gear. She was wearing track pants, sneakers, and a sports top. She was not in her normal ring gear. So it looked like Sasha was going to have a match with Alexa with no preparation, no ring gear, and she was just going to have to go at it. Even though she's the best female wrestler in the world, and she can easily do it, still, And you could see, this was the same thing that Bayley did to Sasha a couple of months ago on the road to Money in the Bank. When Bayley fed Sasha to Tamina, they did the same thing tonight. And I'm telling you, man, slowly and slowly and slowly, the frustration is going to build. And eventually, Sasha's not going to have it anymore. She's not going to take it no more. But either way, we have the match. Sasha's still looking as great as ever. She's wearing the tracksuit. But the thing about it is, it's like, ring gear or not, Sasha's still the best female wrestler in the world. And she proved that tonight. She was still doing her normal offense. And one thing I love about Sasha, and I say this all the time, she is always adding stuff to her offense. I can say the same thing about Kofi Kingston. She did a new double knees sequence. And I love that. She's always finding new ways to get better and improve herself. It's one of the reasons why I keep saying every single podcast she's the best female wrestler in the world. Alright? You had Bayley and Nikki Cross on commentary, and I'm going to say this also about Bayley. Bayley's really fitting well as her heel. In her heel character, she's really gotten better as a heel character. Man, the way she's always fighting with Michael Cole and Sasha and Bayley, they were telling the crowd to shut up, playing up to them being heels, because the NXT crowd was voting for Alexa. But to end the match, basically Bayley tried to get on the ring apron to distract Alexa, who was going for Twisted Bliss, but Nikki went to pull Bayley down. But during that, she sent Bayley flying into Bliss. Bliss fell off the top rope. So Sasha goes to the ring apron. She jumps over the ropes and then rolls Alexa Bliss up. 1, 2, 3. Gets the victory, and Sasha Banks defeats Alexa Bliss. Always good to see Sasha get a win over Alexa Bliss, because why not? Even though she was in a tracksuit, the best female wrestler in the world was able to get the job done. And here's a fun fact. This was Sasha Banks' first singles victory on WWE TV all year. All year. Did you guys know that? Sasha Banks has won tag team matches, but she hasn't won any singles matches on WWE TV. Her last victory was in December, and I forget against who that was. But happy to see Sasha Banks back in the W column. She was losing to Lacey Evans and Tamina a couple of weeks back, and I was like, no. In what universe should Sasha Banks be losing to those superstars? Come on. But it was also announced that next week we will be getting a women's tag team championship match between Cross and Bliss, defending against Sasha Banks and Bayley. So that's going to be interesting to see. I do know, or if you guys remember, it looked like we were getting a continuation of the Iconics versus Bliss and Cross after what happened on Raw on Monday, but it seems like plans may be changing, and I'm fine with that. Getting more gold, Bayley becoming Bayley 2 belts, and Sasha getting gold around her waist once more. I have no problem with that. Hopefully they win next week, because like I said, WWE can easily use this to further the tension between Sasha Banks and Bayley a couple months down the line, when we get a little bit closer to SummerSlam. But we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully Sasha and Bayley win this match, but we'll have to wait till next week. Very interesting to see what happens there. Hopefully we get to see the boss with gold around her waist one more time. Anyway, moving on. It was announced that Matt Riddle, yes, Matt Riddle is moving up to SmackDown. They had Kurt Angle appear, and like I said a couple weeks ago, Kurt Angle was one of the many, WWE producers and executives that were let go on Black Wednesday when WWE was cutting a bunch of their talent to save money. But the thing about it is, Kurt Angle was on NXT this past Wednesday, and now he's back on SmackDown this Friday. He talked about how he was able to referee Matt Riddle's last match in NXT, and how SmackDown's getting a extraordinary superstar. So it's been announced they showed a video package. Matt Riddle is officially coming to SmackDown. Even though there was still a lot more they could have done with him in NXT, I thought there was a chance that maybe we were going to get Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole over the NXT Championship at some point, but that's no longer happening. It was Vince McMahon that made this move. Everyone's been talking about it all week, and I'm worried about Matt Riddle. I really am. He has been known to have backstage heat with Vince and some other WWE officials, and I don't know how WWE's going to book him. Is he going to be booked in the main event, or are they going to put him mid-card, or is WWE going to book him as a jobber? Matt Riddle is too good. He has the entire package. He has the look. He has the charisma. He can talk on the mic. And I know a lot of us want to see Brock Lesnar versus Matt Riddle, and WWE could easily set that up if they wanted to. Maybe we get Lesnar versus Riddle for SummerSlam. Since, Riddle has talked crap for years how he wants to be the guy to end Lesnar's career, even though I don't think WWE would ever let that happen. Still. But I just don't see WWE booking Matt Riddle correctly. I feel like they're going to try to change his entire gimmick. The flip-flops, How long till they have Matt Riddle wearing wrestling boots? Because we all know Riddle, he wrestles barefoot. How long till WWE has him wrestling in wrestling boots? And Vince is changing his character each and every single week. Because if Vince says something, it's going to be done. He has the ultimate authority. So, I don't know. I'm very worried about Matt Riddle being demoted to SmackDown. Definitely, there are interesting matches. Matt Riddle versus an AJ Styles. That's match of the year candidate. That's a match of the year candidate if we get that. A Matt Riddle versus Daniel Bryan. A Matt Riddle versus a Sami Zayn. A Matt Riddle versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Matt Riddle versus The Fiend. I would love to see that. Matt Riddle versus, Mustafa Ali. Matt Riddle versus Drew Gulak. There's lots of different names. There's a lot of people you could feud him with. I just don't see WWE booking him correctly. Alright, I'm afraid he's going to be another NXT talent that WWE wastes. Yes, showing the video package and having Kurt Angle, talk him up, it helps a little bit, but until Riddle is booked correctly, I'm not going to believe it. Easily, I'm telling you right now, the best way you could book Matt Riddle is having him come in and be a beast. If AJ Styles wins the IC title tournament, I would love to see him feud with AJ. A Riddle versus AJ IC title feud, that would be great. But I think the best way you could potentially do this is maybe you have Matt Riddle win the Royal Rumble, alright, next January. And that's a long way away, because there's going to be members of the WWE Universe who don't watch NXT, right? And especially since there's no crowd right now, since you're doing these performance center shows, do something where use the rest of this year, use the summer and the fall to introduce fans to Matt Riddle who do not know him, build him up, right? Maybe have him go undefeated for a while, have Matt Riddle win the Royal Rumble, and then you can build him up for a Universal Championship opportunity against maybe a Roman Reigns or a Fiend at WrestleMania. That would be great. That, when Roman first put out a WrestleMania, there was a lot of people that wanted to see Matt Riddle be the one to step up to face Goldberg at WrestleMania instead of Braun Strowman. Matt Riddle, you're not going to put a guy like that in the mid-card scene. Yes, it worked in NXT because NXT is done correctly. But I don't trust Vince. And the way Vince books the mid-card now, no. Matt Riddle needs to be in the main event scene. He's that damn good. I don't trust WWE to book him correctly, but I don't want to say fingers crossed. We'll just have to wait and see and pray they don't fuck Matt Riddle up. Alright, let's pray. Anyway, we had a date between Mandy Rose and Otis. They finally got some alone time. I didn't mind this at all. It was some funny comedic relief, but just didn't they lose last week to Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler? shouldn't they be mad about that? Shouldn't they be trying to get another match with Sonya and Dolph to get their revenge? Like, I don't know if I'm the only guy in the community that's trying to see this from a logical standpoint. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Who knows? But I don't think I am. But either way, Mandy and Otis, they were at some kind of pool. Mandy was wearing a sexy red bikini. Otis had the Money in the Bank briefcase. They had peach champagne. They had peaches and, bananas and a bunch of fruits. And they were just relaxing, just chilling. So Otis is like, I'm going to take a dip. You want to join me, Mandy? And Mandy's like, nah, I'm a little bit tired. I'm going to try to, take a quick nap. She goes to take a nap, and then she starts having this fantasy dream. And then it's this Otis, taking the temperature of the wind and dipping his toe in the water before, going to the pool. And then Mandy's just making, all these faces like Otis, you're looking good today. And then Otis gets in the pool, and he's looking at Mandy all, sexy or whatever. And right as Mandy's, in dreamland, she gets splashed on with a huge amount of water because Otis does a huge body flop into the pool, waking her up. He asks Mandy if she's okay. He apologizes, but Mandy's like, it's all right. I was having a great dream anyway. And then Mandy gets into the pool, and the two start making out in the pool, which, it was kind of cool. I know there's a lot of you youngins on Twitter that were probably, doing some disgusting things when you guys saw Mandy all wet in the pool making up with Otis, because you guys are gross like that. But anyway, that's a different conversation for another day. So, yeah, looks like Otis isn't worried about cashing in Money in the Bank anytime soon, and I don't have a problem with that. Let Otis take his time cashing in. I don't have a problem with it. Make it actually seem special when the time comes for him to cash in. But one more thing, no Tucker. Another week, no Tucker. We're gonna have to start putting him on a milk carton the same way we put Mustafa Ali on milk cartons here on SmackDown. Like, I understand you guys wanting to do this whole Otis and Mandy thing, but are we gonna forget Heavy Machinery, man? I enjoyed them as a tag team. Still, man, let's not forget about Tucker, please. And there's still a part of me that believes that potentially down the line, Mandy might be the one to cost Otis Money in the Bank, or cost him, the Universal Championship when it's time for him to cash in. I don't know, but this is my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But last but not least, before we get out of here, main event, we had Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan. Winner would face AJ Styles in the finals of the IC title tournament. And like I said, I think that match is either next week or the week after, even though I don't understand why we just want to do the match at Backlash. But I'm going to skip to the ending of the match. Basically, Sheamus was getting ready to do the bro kick on Daniel Bryan, but Jeff Hardy comes out, and he still looks like he's trying to get his wits about him. But it's revealed that Hardy was released from being arrested, because he was arrested at the beginning of the show. But he distracts Sheamus, and then Daniel Bryan hits the running knee, gets the 1-2-3, and solidifies his spot in the IC tournament finals. So good for Daniel Bryan, even though it's kind of stupid, because AJ Styles, remember earlier in the show, AJ Styles called him an idiot, and just kind of showed that, because Bryan still made it to the finals anyway. He could have easily had got a spot in the finals by not having a match and saving his energy, but he wanted to have a match. He wanted to have a fight on SmackDown, and he was still able to get the victory thanks to Jeff Hardy. After the match, Jeff Hardy attacks Sheamus. Sheamus rolls out of the ring and retreats, but this just confirms all of our suspicions. Basically, Sheamus was the one who set up Jeff Hardy. All right, shut up the whole accident and the beer can situation. We don't know how, but this is heavily implied based on Hardy attacking Sheamus. The commentators were all confused, but they played Jeff Hardy's music to end the show. And I think this is where the hacker gets involved. You know, we've been talking about the hacker for weeks now and how he's always watching everything that happens on SmackDown. I think the hacker could be used in two different situations. I think they could use the hacker to further the Sasha Banks and Bayley storyline eventually, and I think they can use the hacker to reveal the truth about Jeff Hardy's accident. You know, maybe next week or a couple weeks down the line, we have, Hardy trying to prove that Sheamus was the one that framed him, and Sheamus was the one that set up the accident with Elias. But Sheamus, being the heel that she is, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. You're delusional. That beer and that alcohol has really gotten into your head. And now you're just trying to blame other people for your own constant mistake. But then the hacker comes out of nowhere and says the truth will be heard. Kind of the same way they did when they were revealing the truth about what happened between Mandy, Otis, Dolph, and Sonya a couple months back. They could do the same thing here and have the hacker reveal footage of potentially Sheamus putting a bunch of beer in Hardy's rental car and potentially knocking him out and him causing the accident and all this other stuff, But definitely if they want, and I think WWE probably will go down this direction, but sometime down the line, Hardy is going to prove that Sheamus was the one that set up the accident through the hacker or through some other means. So it's going to be interesting. And it'll be a good way to continue the feud between Hardy and Sheamus. Because like I said, they could have done the option of potentially having Sheamus become IC champion and winning the entire tournament, and then Hardy getting the ultimate payback by not only proving Sheamus was the one who caused the accident with Elias, but also taking the IC title from him. But like I said, I feel like they're building Hardy up for something bigger, like a potential Universal Championship match down the line. But still, I find this creative, I find it interesting. And one more side note before we get out of here, I think WWE's planning on having Sami Zayn feud with the winner of the IC title tournament, doing the whole thing, because Sami Zayn's great at what he does. They can easily do it. Have Sami Zayn say, oh, I never lost the title. That's my championship. Be a heel. But if that's the case they're going, it would make the most sense to give the title to Daniel Bryan. Just because, Bryan's the babyface and Zayn's a heel. Unless you're planning on turning AJ back into a babyface. Which I wouldn't mind. I love babyface AJ and I love heel AJ. It doesn't matter to me either way. But we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I don't think Styles versus Bryan is supposed to take place next week, but we'll just have to wait and find out. I don't think it's taking place at Backlash, but I don't know. But either way, I'll be honest with you guys, SmackDown tonight, I got to give it a pass. It was a good show. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't great. But it was one of the better Performance Center shows, mainly because Sasha Banks and Bayley were great tonight, and also because I really like what they did with the whole Jeff Hardy Elias car accident. I found that to be creative. I just wish WWE could be like this all the fucking time. But anyway, guys, yes, that's all I got for you guys today. That's your SmackDown review. I think we went about an hour because, I wanted to go in depth on everything that happened. But either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Thank you guys for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. No matter if you're listening here on YouTube or on Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere like that. Either way, guys, thank you guys for the love and support. As always, if you guys are watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe if you guys are new, enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Alright, follow me on social media. Thank you guys for everything. I'll see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy. Peace.